Hello, everybody. Welcome to Better at Work. Hope you're all well. I'm Cathal Quinn and I'm back with my lovely co-host, Annette. Hello, Annette.
Hi, Cathal. Hi, everyone. Good to be back.
So lovely to see you. And we're into episode 2, Annette, of our new listeners' questions. And I'm super excited. We got great feedback last week. People loved your align, Annette. They thought you
They
said it
did, yeah.
beautifully as well.
And I've been really trying not to say it.
Have you been successful in getting rid of a line?
Yeah, pretty much. I've deleted it.
We're going to have to
Almost
keep,
gone.
a
Yeah.
few people said, can we
Mm,
do that more regularly? So we might have to
mm.
come up with some other words that people are overusing in the workplace, because that got a lot of old hits for us. People were like, what the hell? That is so funny. So anyway, we will, and I thought people really liked, Annette, how you said you wanted your computer to give you an electric shock to stop you every time. So we're going to see if we can invent one of those. So what else has been happening for you? What's happening down in Melbourne?
Cathal, my big news is that I'm planning with my walking group friends to walk in the Camino next year. I don't know if I've told you about this. So May
No.
23rd, we're departuring Melbourne for Madrid to take the train to
Wow.
Sarria and walk on the Camino. So far, there's 5 of us out of our 12 we've been walking for 9 years. It'll be our 10th anniversary. We walk once a month on Sunday. And so then I might be able to come and see you if you're around in
Oh my
London
God.
after
I hope so.
I might, if I'm still standing, I'll be there on my walking stick and 300 blisters. So that's the big news. That's the big news. And, Cathal, some of the inspiration for me was one of our guests, Bill Cowan, who has walked on the Camino with his
Oh,
daughter Imogen,
really?
and it was so inspiring. That's part of what's spurred me on when our walking group have decided we're off. And how about you, Cathal? What's been happening with you?
All's
What's your
been
news
good
for
in
us?
it. It's been a great few weeks. I think just super excited having the podcast back. It's actually bringing a lot of discipline, having our recording sessions. Kids are doing well. Guess what though, Annette? We had to go to a parent-teacher meeting on Saturday for Ayla. And I was kind of nervous because on the Wednesday, I'd said to her teacher, I've been noticing she's talking about friends a lot, right? And she said one of her friends in the class said that she didn't want to be her friend anymore. And, it was like,
Oh,
you're just like, oh,
mm,
geez,
yeah.
Louise, I don't need this at 8 a.m. in the
Mm.
morning. Anyway, I said it to the teacher and the teacher said to me, let's talk on Saturday. And from Wednesday to Saturday was like, oh God, what is she going to tell me about our little girl? Anyway, it went so well. Teacher was really happy with her. She said
Yeah.
she's really good in the class. I tell you, we skipped out of that place. Skipped. I think I nearly tripped up skipping the place. I was just so happy. And I slept so well Saturday night. And how interesting,
Mm.
a parent-teacher meeting on a Saturday. I wasn't expecting that.
I
Saturday morning.
actually think that's good, Cathal. It's so hard to juggle during the workday or at the end of the workday when you're tired. I think
Yeah.
Saturdays are good. I
Well, you
like
say
it.
that some of the other
Mm, mm,
parents were not happy
mm.
because they didn't allow you to bring your little ones with you. So they were
Oh,
like, well, what am I
okay.
going to do with my child on
Mm,
Saturday? But
mm.
here's the power of people. Guess what I heard them doing, right? They were like, well, if you book in at 10 a.m., this was some of the other parents, you book in at 10 a.m., I'll book in at 10 past 10. I'll look after your kids while you're in. And then you do the same for me. I just thought it was
That's
amazing,
nice. Yeah.
So nice. Like there's
Mm.
always a solution. Now, speaking of solutions, Annette, who had we back on? Only the amazing Tasha Eurich.
And
Wasn't
shatterproof.
Shatterproof, the
Mm,
book,
mm.
brilliant. What did you think of Tasha?
Cathal, my first takeaway was around one of the myths about resilience, and that myth that you can build resilience by, for example, doing gratitude practices and you'll be able to build resilience. And that is a myth because of what Tasha found through her research, that we all have a resilience ceiling. And linked here is that when that ceiling is approaching, often we can fall into grit-gaslighting ourselves, where we're not finding our resilience pool, and that self-talk of why can't you just suck it up? You're pretty fortunate. Other people have it worse. Why can't you deal? So I think that was a real insight for me about that myth about why it doesn't always work. And how my kids used to say to each other what they learn at school about resilience when that's one of them would be having a meltdown, the other one might say, "Hey, be like a marshmallow and bounce back." That was, and sometimes that would just be like rhetoric to a bull. I don't want to be a marshmallow. Anyway, so that I really like that resilience myth busting from Tasha. My second takeaway is around the formula for a beautiful life and
Oh, I love
that
this, Annette.
concept, and how Tasha has identified the 3 human needs that we all have in order to be resilient. And that's confidence is number 1, so doing well, growing and getting better. And then choice, that agency and authenticity. And then connection, that sense of belonging. And we've talked a lot about that, Cathal, around that need for a sense of belonging in a team, having a friend, and that how that helps with stress absorption and purpose and making you want to go above and beyond because you've got meaning through that connection and belonging. So that's my second takeaway. And then the fourth, and then my third takeaway is around how practical and applicable Tasha's 4-step shatterproof roadmap is. So those 4 steps, and I want this one laminated, Cathal, and on hand. So that first one of being able to probe your pain, so to acknowledge discomfort, know how you're feeling, and rather than suppressing it or ignoring it, noticing it. The second one of tracing your triggers, so to interrogate and investigate what's activating you, what are those external cues, what's provoking that reactivity and overwhelm. And then the third step around spotting your shadow, so of identifying those patterns, those defense mechanisms. The one that I have, and I think, and you call out for yourself as well, people pleasing or perfectionism. And when that's rearing its head, that's kicking in, stress is kicking in. And then that fourth one of pick your pivots. So to do that work about being able to choose new, more adaptive responses and shifts you can make to better meet those unmet needs of confidence, choice, and connection, so that you can move forward. So I think that it's just so straightforward. And what I can't wait to get my hands on the book, Cathal, is that I know that Tasha has for each of those 4 steps in the Shatterproof roadmap, all the practical things that you can do. So some will suit you, some won't. So, so for the first one of the probe your pain, Tasha has things like emotion logging, doing your body scan, naming the feeling and recording that, and just that giving yourself permission. So really, really practical, researched things that you can do in each of those parts of the 4-step Shatterproof roadmap, which I love.
Oh, Annette, what a great set of takeaways from you. You really, that's brilliant. I love that emotional log as well, that you just mentioned there, because I do think being able to kind of probe your brain, trace your triggers. I've started doing that, even on my iPhone in the notes section, going, why do these situations annoy me? And it's quite useful to go back and look at the end of the day, and you can kind of go, oh, I think it was because of this. And actually, even sometimes 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later. So for everyone that's listening, this is a fantastic book. It is unbelievable. And I don't know how the woman does it, Annette, but she's able to take all of these pieces of research and put them into something so digestible and so practical.
I want Tasha in my AI co-pilot helping me out day to day.
Okay, now that is hilarious, isn't it? You know what? Now we actually got, while we've been recording here, Annette, we got a resilience question on LinkedIn. and it's and I think we'll just try and answer it really quickly here, because it's from
Oh,
someone who has said, I've loved the episode, Cathal, with you and Tasha. I thought I would share the following with you. When talking to employers, they want a lot they talk a lot about wanting students and graduates to have resilience and adaptability, the ability to deal with uncertainty, bounce back from setbacks, and adjust to different environments is a clear priority. Why it matters to employers, whether it's remote work, new systems, or changing client needs, employers say adaptability is essential. Graduates who stay calm under pressure, show resilience in the face of setbacks, are far more likely to succeed and stay in the role. There you go, Annette. That is interesting. So the question is, employers are saying they want the graduates, etc., coming in to be more resilient. I'm reading this going, I wonder, is it a different word they're looking for?
I wonder, Carl, if you think about joining an organization like you and I both have as graduates, and you've got a lot riding on it. You've been to university, you've got the graduate position and you're there. And if things don't go well, I've seen it, Kahal, and I've done it. It can be devastating. The first time you get some negative feedback, the first time you have some conflict at work, and how much bigger it can seem when you're just starting out. So maybe it isn't resilience. Maybe it is around work readiness, for the realities of day to day, particularly in corporate life, if you haven't had that and you're a
Yeah,
new
I think as
graduate.
well.
Mm,
Yeah, I think it's a really
mhm,
good point you make. I read that. It literally just came up as we
mm,
were talking and doing this episode. So I thought I would bring it
mm.
up, and we may not
Yeah.
leave it in, but I
Mm,
thought, and Phoebe, our lovely producer, would be like, why did you put that in? But it
mm,
literally just came up, and I thought, let's ask it. I mean, is it human-centric leadership once you're in the organization? Is it understanding that these new grads
mm.
coming in, it is a whole new world to them, right? The first thing entered my head
Yeah.
was the word. I think, of course, employers want the people
Mm,
coming in to be adaptable, right? Of
mm,
course, that is very key.
mm,
But I think what we've learned from this episode with the lovely Tasha is that resilience isn't the thing. It's confidence, choice, and connection,
I
right?
think with the
And
graduates, Kahal, it might be confidence, because I'm thinking about,
yeah,
I've had many graduates working for me, and I can remember one graduate, and at the end of each day, for maybe the first 2 months, he would come at the end of the day and thank
yeah,
me for the day, thank me for everything before he went home. And so, but as he grew in confidence, that waned, that stopped. So there was something there about that not being confident and wanting to check in at the end of each day and be overly grateful for the job, when I thought he was doing an amazing job and I was wanting to thank him. So maybe it's confidence.
yeah. I
That's
think
the
in my head, I can imagine why this
mm,
person's asked the
mm.
question. They're
Yeah.
obviously a HR background or
Mm,
something
yeah.
like that. And they're
Mm,
saying, look, I'm being asked to
mm,
make sure the graduates are resilient and
yeah.
adaptable,
Mm,
right? And
mm,
maybe what we're saying is resilience isn't the right word, right?
yeah.
It's
Mm,
it's creating it's
yeah.
of course you want them to
Mm,
be confident coming in.
mm,
But I think it's a two-way street in it, right?
yeah.
It's not necessarily all about the graduate. There has to
Yeah.
be a workplace that's psychologically safe for them, that they
Mm,
can raise things, that they have, I suppose, the ability to raise questions. So I don't know.
mm,
I'm kind of, that question
yeah.
landed on me there now, and I'm like, I'm not sure it's all about
The
the
gra the pe
graduates.
the graduate, 'cause sometimes it can be actually resilience can be a code word for putting up with other people's bad behavior and becoming
Mm,
immune to it. So is that the feedback about we want resilient graduates who won't be put boundaries in or be offended or call out, hey, I didn't sign up for this.
Yeah, because I
Wonder.
mean, the stuff they've put on here is new
Yeah.
systems, changing client
Mm.
needs.
Mm.
They say employers say adaptability is essential. I
Mm.
agree with that.
Yeah.
Adaptability is very
Yeah.
important, but you've also got to create an environment
Yeah.
that
Mm.
allows them to be
Yeah.
adaptable as well, and that
Mm.
supports them in
Yeah.
that ways. And that's why I
Mm.
think human-centered leadership
Mm.
is very
Mm.
important when you get into these organizations, and just telling people
Yeah.
what's happening. You know,
Mm.
I think one thing that we brought up in the conversation with Tasha was how Tasha said, you know, oftentimes stress comes from other people not planning properly. You
Mm.
know,
Yeah.
so, you know, new system going in. How
Mm.
many times, Annette, have you and I been in situations where you find out new system going in tomorrow, blah, 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 you'll have no access to this. You're
And
like,
we have 16 workarounds.
yeah, 16 work. And, you know, like, of
Mm.
course, that's going to
Mm.
make people
Yeah.
stressful. But is
Mm.
it that employers want you to be like,
Mm.
well, you've got to
Yeah.
be resilient? I'm like,
Mm.
oh, well,
Yeah.
resilience isn't really,
Mm.
if you had planned
Mm.
better,
Yeah.
I wouldn't need to be resilient.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
that's our
Mm.
live question. We've never
Mm.
had that before,
Mm.
but that actually just came in on LinkedIn as we were recording here. Now, our listeners, Annette, have loved these kind of quick fire questions that we've been doing. They want us to keep doing them for another little while because they learn a little bit more about you and I. So,
Yes. So I've got a
oh,
question for you,
oh
Cathal.
God. See,
We're
we
going to
don't
start
really
here.
prep for these now,
Yeah.
listeners. So let's
Mhm.
see what she's going to ask me.
Okay, Cathal, could you tell us about a time at work where a situation at work that you wish you could time travel back to and change how you handled it? From Tasha's perspective, what would be the rethink?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many different examples. I would say I remember doing a presentation to quite a senior audience. And there was one particular guy who everyone knew in the leadership team was very rude, always wanted to put everyone else down. And he was very rude to me in that moment. And, you know, you're up at the front of a room in
Yeah.
front of 30 people, all senior people, and then they put you on the spot. And because of my people pleasing sometimes, and which
Mm.
definitely happened in this case, I kind of just bowed down to what, you know, he had said
Yeah.
he wanted. When in fact, in my gut, I was like, that is not what we should be doing at all.
Yeah.
But and maybe it was a lack of confidence in that moment in it. So back
Mm.
to Tasha's research on confidence, choice, connection. I felt maybe I wasn't as confident because I'm up
Mm.
there presenting something. And you know, Annette,
Yeah.
you and I used to often have to, we were in transformation or,
Mm.
you know, the work we were doing, you know, you often had to present something that's often people didn't want to hear. They didn't
Mm.
want to change their process. They didn't want to have to do what we were presenting. And I think if I could go back in time, I would have stood up more to that particular
Yeah.
person, not in
Mm.
a rude way, but just would have. And because I think sometimes when your amygdala is attacked or you feel
Yeah.
under attack in that moment, it's very difficult. So I would love to go back in that because, you know what, I got quite upset after that presentation. I remember talking to a good friend of mine, Anushri, hi Anushri, after that presentation and being very upset with myself for not I was upset by the remark and the aggressive tone of it, and when you're caught like that,
Yeah.
it's really tricky to get out of. So I think back to Tasha's thing, I wish I'd been more confident in that moment, and the rethink would be, you know, sometimes you are maybe pause
Yeah.
when you get
Mm.
that aggressive comment or aggressive, which you know everyone in the
Yeah.
room
Mm.
knows, but
Mm.
just kind of pausing and not responding
Yeah.
immediately, being confident to have a pause.
Mm. Yeah. I like it.
Yeah. So anyway, now you brought that back into my
Awesome.
mind. I feel like I'm back in that
You're
room.
back there.
And
You're back there.
what about you, Annette? Let me ask you the same question. Is there a time you wish you could go back and change how you handled it?
It might be the flip side of that, Cathal. There's one experience, you know, you look back through your career and you think that was defining, possibly defining. So that a time travel for me, there was someone I worked with who wanted to move into my product team and shared that with me. And so I mentored them, and an opportunity came up and created that opportunity for this person to move in from another discipline into product management. And then I went on some extended travel. And while I was away, that woman proposed to my boss to split my team and become a direct report and take a third of my team.
Oh my
I don't know,
God.
maybe 6, 9, 10 months since, a very, confident, ambitious person. And when I came back, everyone in my team and the split team were up in arms about this happening. Someone who didn't have much experience, and had engineered this, and everyone was in shock and appalled on my behalf. And I remember thinking at that time, I'm not going to change myself. I wanted to help, wanted to mentor, wanted to support people in their ambitions and their goals. And I'm not going to become suspicious, not willing to help, angry and bitter about that's done. It's done. Make the most of it. And actually, I'm quite happy with a, um, 60, 70% size of job. It's better. It's better. So that's my time travel back. And I think about that often around when something like that happens that can make you want to change good things about you, to maybe make that choice within Tasha's framework, the choice to go, no, this is who I am. I love helping people. I want to help people grow. And sometimes people may take advantage of that. That's humanity. That's the way. It's one of my Irish great aunts would say, that's the way life goes.
Yeah.
That's the way
My
life
God, I
goes.
can't believe she came in and just, oh my God, the goal
Mm.
of this person to
Mm.
come in and like split it all up. But I
Mm.
mean, knowing you, you're such a positive person. I mean, the fact that you then were like, okay, well, look, it's better. I mean, do you
Yeah.
think in hindsight she had, like, was she
She It
thinking of you in
was
some
a
way,
long
or
time ago,
was it?
long, long time ago. I think she was older than me, very confident, very ambitious, and she was just going for it.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
Mm.
Wow. I bet some of
Mm.
our listeners have had that happen. I'm going to be
Mm.
intrigued. If you've had something
Mm.
similar, let us know. And our final quick question, Annette. Oh, you've got a question for me, I think. Is it?
Oh,
Yeah, you
yes.
had a
Yes.
little.
So I've got another question, Carl. So our last question. So, Carl, if you were starting a new job tomorrow, what would
Mm,
you want to do on day one? But maybe from those Formula
on day
4
one, what would
Beautiful
I want to do?
Life. Mm.
Um, I think on day one, I probably would try and be more confident to think about what I can bring that's different to the group and not try to look around and go, well, they're doing this, they're doing
Mm.
that. I better copy what they're doing. And I wish I was just a bit more confident in myself in those early, jobs,
Yeah.
that I've had, right? So, and if I was
Mm.
starting a new job tomorrow, I think that's what I would do. I would go in and just be myself because, Annette, what's the point if you have to go
Yeah.
in and be
Mm.
fake and
Yeah.
not yourself,
Mm.
right? And of course, you can't be, you can't go in and go start swearing or something, like you and
Yeah.
I do when,
Mm.
like this morning when the thing didn't work for me, the studio for recording this, like there was quite a few choice words going on in this room, but you get what I mean, right?
Yeah.
So I think going
Mm.
in and being confident on day one that they've brought you in for a reason and you don't have to be trying to fit in. I think in
Yeah.
my early
Mm.
jobs in it, I tried to fit in more. And actually what I learned was, you know, more what was unique about me was that actually I had a different point of view to some of the other people. And yeah, that's what I would do.
Mm. I think
But yeah, confidence.
that's really great advice, Carl, and it goes back to maybe the listener's question of the LinkedIn question about wanting resilience, when maybe it's about the confidence and to be
Yeah.
yourself and bring your best
The
self.
confidence,
Mm,
and the confidence to ask questions and the
mm,
confidence
mm.
to, be proud that you've been
Yeah.
brought in
Mm,
and, all of those things, which I think will really help an organization and then the organization supporting you around
mm.
that. So, yeah, I mean, I think Tasha's episode
Shatterproof.
just it's Shatterproof.
Shatterproof. Yeah.
Shatterproof. If
Mm,
you haven't heard of it,
yeah.
guys, Shatterproof. I'm looking up here because the book is above me here. Shatterproof: How to Thrive in a World of Constant Chaos. Tasha
Yeah.
Eurich. Absolutely brilliant book. And Annette, she's going to be here in the UK next month. I can't wait. She and I are going to catch up. So let's see what else we
Serious
can find out
FOMO.
from Tasha.
Hey, and a big thank you everyone for joining us. If you've got a career dilemma that you'd like us to help you try and tackle in a future listeners' question episode, drop us a note at betteratwork.net and we'd love to help. And also, don't forget, you can now watch Better at Work on YouTube. The full conversations are there, or you can keep listening wherever you get your podcasts.
Yay! Well done, Annette. Annette's doing a little bit more of our little DJ bit. I love it, Annette. And next week, guess what as well? We've got an incredible guest, Zach Mercurio, and his book is all about the power of mattering. Oh, Annette, this is a good one. This guy is incredible. So I can't wait for you all to hear that next week. Now, thank you so much for joining us. I'm Carl Quinlan.
And I'm Annette Sloan.
This has been Better at Work.
Remember to hit follow and subscribe to get a notification when new episodes of Better at Work are available to watch or to listen. We'll see
We'll
you
see
next
you next
time.
time, everyone. Have a
Bye-bye,
great day
Cathal.
and talk soon. Bye,
Bye,
everybody.
everyone.